Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace. Today is Friday, April 21st. This is a podcast about knitting and crafty things and unicorns this week, which I'll get into later this episode. Like always, you can find all the show notes and all my social medias, all the links to literally everything in the show notes, which will be found on my blog. If you are on YouTube, it'll be down below, there will be a link to my blog so you can access all the things by the down bar. If you're on YouTube, I have a Starbucks drink. I have my classic iced caramel latte because they were out of the unicorn frappuccino and I was very sad, but I'll talk about that later. If you want to grab something tasty to drink, like I have my iced coffee, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. So this week, there is more knitting. There's been quite a lot of knitting actually, due to a spontaneous surprise trip that my husband and I took last week to surprise my mom for her birthday. We got to see his family too, which was really fun, which resulted in a lot of knitting time, which was really great in the car. Both like focus knitting and mindless. I can't really look at my hands or my knitting because it's really dark outside knitting, so that was very successful. Also, once again, the apartment complex is doing some kind of like yard work, as they always do whenever I start to record on Fridays, so I apologize for the noise in the background. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Hopefully it will not be an issue. So if you have been on the internet at all, literally at all, this week, you will know that the world is currently obsessed with unicorns, specifically Starbucks, and they have released a unicorn frappuccino, which is beautiful and it looks delicious. I don't actually know if it's delicious or not because I have not had one. Also, once again, I'm in my twisty chair, so I'll try not to twist around too much. But I might wiggle a little bit. This morning I was like, you know what, it would be really cool if I could have, if I went and got a unicorn frappuccino and then I had it to drink while I was recording the podcast, because that's super cool and I can be hip and cool and I can say that I tried one, because I hadn't had one yet. And so I went to the nearby Starbucks, and I pulled up and I was like, I'd like to try a unicorn frappuccino. And the lady was very nice about it. She was like, I would love to give you one, but like unicorns, they're very mystical. It was either mythical or mystical, and we don't have them anymore. So they ran out, which is like totally understandable. I don't know why I had super high expectations that they would have them, whether they would still have the supplies to make them, but I was hopeful and my hopes and dreams were crushed, but that's okay. That is okay. I will be fine. They're out until tomorrow. Tomorrow? Tomorrow's not the 23rd though. That's Sunday. It's either Saturday or Sunday. The 23rd or the 22nd. I don't know which one, but they're out until a certain day. And who knows, maybe they'll bring it back and make it a permanent drink. That would be cool for those of us who did not get one or have not gotten one yet. So I got my standard Starbucks drink, which is the iced caramel latte, which is always a winner. So I was texting my mom and my sister and I was like, they're out and I'm very sad. And so my mom suggested that I still have unicorn in the podcast and I show my unicorn slippers, which are from Target, because like, can you really, like, there's always a need for unicorns because they're just so happy. Because there's always that the saying of always be yourself, unless you can be a unicorn, then be a unicorn, because they're cool. I have no idea where this obsession of unicorns has come from. It seems very random, but I mean, I'm all for it because it's colorful and they're pretty and they're sparkly and that's always fun. Anyway, so these, I got these from Target. I got them from Target a very long time ago. If you follow me on Instagram, you've definitely seen pictures of these. I don't know if they still, I highly doubt they still have them, but you never know. I got them at Target if you are interested. So that is that. I saw them on Instagram, someone else had them, and I was like, I need to get those. And I actually ended up getting them when I was not feeling well, so it was a very nice treat to have unicorns on my feet while I was under the weather. Because that's super relevant to knitting, and unicorn frappuccinos are super relevant to knitting. Just needed to have the unicorn rant of, not really a rant, but just like talking about the current state of unicorn obsession. So now that is over, and we will get to the knitting content. So I have 3 things that I've been working on this past week and this past weekend. 2 of them are like definitely more exciting, and one of them is very boring. It is boring only because of the fact that it is literally stocking it back and forth until I have however many inches. I don't remember however many, but I should be getting close. I should be getting very close, which is why I'm going to show it to you, because I haven't shown it to you in a while, and I'm just going to show off my progress. So this is the Old Romance cardigan by Joji Locatelli. And I've made quite a dent on the body, I feel like. So to measure, if you are not a knitter, here's some good old knitting information. To measure the body, obviously you start from the armpit where it connects under here, and you measure downwards. And so I have to have something like 15 inches before I get to do anything, and I feel like that's not going to be long enough. I don't remember. The last time I measured this, I might have been around 10 inches, and that was before, no, maybe that was after the long knitting spree in the car. I don't remember. I need to measure this. We're going to find out, you know? It'll be fine, but either way, it's coming along just fine, and I'm really enjoying it, and like I cannot wait till it is done. But it's nice having a project that, like, I think I mentioned this the last time I showed it to you guys. It's nice having a project that I know I can just like throw in my bag if we're gonna go watch a movie, or if there's a long car ride and I know it's gonna be dark, because that's when I mainly worked on this. We were driving back from Houston, and it was very dark, so I just knit back and forth and back and forth and back and forth without needing to look at my hands or the knitting or what I was doing. It was very convenient. So, let's see, what else do I need to say about this? Oh, the yarn. The yarn is Madeline Tosh Mo Light, which is the one with the mohair in it. It is not the Merino Light. It has mohair, so it is slightly more fuzzy, but I think that just gives it character. It's a very nice yarn. The main color is Kitten, and then, which is just like a bunch of tonals of gray, and it is very beautiful, and it is just gorgeous. And I think you can definitely tell this was probably a different dye lot. This is like lighter right here, but that's okay. It's not too noticeable, I don't think. I say that now, I'm just now realizing this. Yeah, so. And then the lace part is Antler. Boop. Can we better center that? Let's get that. There we go. It's a beautiful lace pattern. When I was knitting these 2 lace panels, I knit them both at the same time to prevent second lace panel syndrome, because that's a thing. Second sock syndrome, which is what I'm taking that from, is where you knit a sock and you are either like bored with the sock or you just want to move on to new things, so you're just like, I don't want to knit the second sock, so you're left with 1 sock. Hence this is called second sock syndrome. So to prevent second lace panel syndrome, I knit them both at the same time, but it made it a little bit more complicated, so it took me a little bit longer than I was expecting. But that's okay. I powered through and I did it, and then I did the cool construction of the sleeves, which is very unique. And now I'm just working on the body until it's done. So that is very exciting. This is very wonderful, and I'm definitely enjoying knitting on this. There were 2 shawls that I showed you last week. One of them was not cast on yet, and that one is a test knit, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. And the other one was also a shawl, but it was not a test knit, and it was already cast on. I cast it on a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I believe. I think. Yes. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was already cast on, and I've made a lot of progress on it, and I'm very excited about both of them. So we're going to start with the test knit because, excuse me while I bend out of frame for a moment. So yes, this is a test knit for friend Chelsea, and she has designed many a pattern before, and they're all very wonderful, and I will link to all of the rest of her patterns to Ravelry in the show notes. But she is designing this shawl. It's called Forever Summer, and it takes 2 fingering weights, and it's an asymmetrical shawl, and this is what I have so far. Very stripy, a little bit of lace here, and lots of just yay stripiness, and it's going so nicely, and it's just very quick and easy. So yeah, you have a section here that is eyelets. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's just your basic eyelet, and then more stripies, and then we're at the tip. So the asymmetrical shawl, you are increasing on one side and decreasing, sometimes decreasing on the other side. You're just kind of knitting at an angle, which is always entertaining, and it's very fun to see how the shawl grows from there. You may ask what yarns I am using. If you did not watch last week's episode, you will not know, but I'm using my own yarn, which is wonderful. It is such a wonderful, so happy. I love how the colors are working out. I dyed this yarn specifically for this pattern because I wanted something very summery, and I didn't have necessarily the things I wanted to use. Last week I said that these colorways were unnamed, and they have been named since then. They were named just like this past week. They have been nameless for a while, but I was inspired, and now they have names. So this bright orange, which is much more orange in person, much less pink, but we do have these like lighter spots of pink. This one is called Cherry Limeade. I said that like a question. It's just Cherry Limeade. And both of these are on my Chic base, which is 100% merino. I think 100% superwash merino maybe. It's either superwash merino or merino. It's just single. It's very similar to like Madeline Tosh Merino Light, the one without the mohair. So yes, Cherry Limeade. And then the other color is called Deep Sea Jellyfish. And it is like a minty aqua-y blue with flecks of, let's see if I can find any. Here's some flecks of like dark blue, some purple, there's some pink. So yes, it is much more blown out than it is in person, but it is very beautiful. This is how, like I showed you before, this is how the Cherry Limeade knits up, and then this is how the Deep Sea Jellyfish knits up. And as you can see, there are like spots. Let's see if I can show you this. Spots where the blue is, and then spots where the purple is. They're very like speckly, very pretty. I'm very happy with how it turned out. There's some more colors there with some purple right there. So it is going very nicely, and it has been a pleasure to knit. I believe the pattern is coming out sometime in May, so if you are interested in knitting this, you can be on the lookout for that. And yes, I'll be continuing to post updates on on that on my Instagram and on the podcast, obviously, until I'm done with it. So that is very exciting. So yes, that is shawl number 1. So shawl number 2 is much more farther along, and it is, I cast this on 2 weeks ago, I believe. This is also knit out of my yarn, and I will show you those in just a minute. But here, this needle is so twisty. Ugh. That's okay. So this is what I have so far. There's the tip, and I've gone along, and I've started the striping section. Yay. So that is very exciting. I finished the garter stitch in the eyelet section, and now I'm starting on the stripy section, and I do that for a while, and then I start the lace section in the gray, which is very exciting. This is a pattern called Spotlight by Janina Callio, which I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the link will be in the show notes. So yes, it's another asymmetrical shawl. Again, garter, which is very squishy and very nice. This is knit out of my own yarn, Catknit Yarns, which you can find the shop link down below, and it'll be on the blog as well. This is on my Pizzazz base, which is 75% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and 5% stellina. It's in the colorway Under the Sea, which is this one. A lot of blues with some speckles of purple. So that's Under the Sea, and then the contrasting color is this very tonal gray, which is called Elephant Trunk. I can see it's harder to see the sparkle in this one, but it is there. It is there. It is very sparkly. So together, I think these are very fun. Very fun indeed. I'm very excited with how this is knitting up. Despite the fact that my needles are very twisty, that is okay. They were the only ones that I could find in the moment, so you do what you gotta do. When you want to cast on a pattern and all you can find is a pair of needles that you know the cord is twisty, but it's the right size, it's like, well, I can put up with twisty needles. It's really okay. I just really want to cast this on right now. So, yeah. This is actually the wrong side. I think I showed you the right side earlier. But yes, so this is what it looks like. This is a better representation of what the colors are. It's much darker in person, but you can see the splashes of the purple, and then here you can see the gray and the sparkle. So wonderful. Yeah. It is moving up very nicely, very quickly, and I love it. I don't know. I think it'll be a good shawl for the summer because it is so lightweight, and because it is like garter stitch, it's like so squishy and airy and bouncy, which is really wonderful. So, as is the other one, the Forever Summer shawl. Both of them are garter stitch, both of them are very airy and bouncy, and it'll be a joy to wear both of them, I think. So, this is the Spotlight shawl by Janina Callio. So another thing that I wanted to kind of start discussing, or maybe get you guys' opinion on, is like videos that I might make. Also, I did not write show notes for this week, or like show notes beforehand. Usually I write show notes beforehand and then I go off of those as I'm recording. I didn't do that this week, and so this is all very like on the fly. So if my thoughts are very jumbled, I do apologize. But, so when we went to Houston this past weekend, we spent time with my parents, and then we also spent time with my husband's family as well, which was so much fun. And then we went to his church on Sunday. And while we were there, there was suggestions given to me, suggestions given to me by Patty, my mother-in-law, and Shelly Johnston. Hello, ladies. And there have been some other people as well online that have also suggested this to me, of maybe me doing knitting tutorial videos, or just like, I'm a beginning knitter, I have no idea what I'm doing. How do I do it? Which I think sounds like a lot of fun. I have no idea how I would do that, but I would, if that is something you guys would be interested in, if you don't know how to knit, I would love to figure out how to do that. So if you would be interested in that, you can leave a comment below, or you can send me messages on all the various social medias if you'd like. If you'd like to give me ideas of things that you want to learn. My knowledge of knitting is one of those things where, like, regardless of how long you've been knitting, or regardless of like the things that you've knit, you still are always learning things. Like, I've never steeped anything before, and I've never done double knitting, and there's other knitting skills that I don't even know about. I've never knit a yoked colorwork sweater, just in general. So I've never knit a colorwork sweater, actually. So yeah, there are lots of things that I have not knit, and so, like, if there are things that you suggest that I don't know how to do, if that actually happens, I don't know, but I might not be able to help you with that. But with things like casting on, I can show you how I cast on, I can show you how I knit and purl and do all that stuff, and then yeah, I can put it in a little video, and I can stick it up on YouTube, and that might be fun for you guys. Might be fun for me to figure out how to do that. So yes, if that sounds like an interesting thing for you, or if you'd like to see something in particular, you can let me know, and I will start brainstorming ideas of how I can put that together, and how exactly I want to do that, and all that jazz. So anyway, thank you very much for the suggestions. I appreciate it. I feel like as a podcaster, like, especially when you're by yourself, you do, I've said this many times before, you feel, sometimes there are weeks where you're like, I have nothing to talk about, like, I just have my knitting, and I feel like I haven't really done very much on my knitting, and I have to record, and there's nothing for me to talk about, and I'm just gonna be sitting here for hopefully 15 minutes. Hopefully I can talk for 15 minutes and then I can put up a 15-minute podcast episode for people to watch, and hopefully they will be entertained. So if there are knitting tutorials that could be helpful, I can tack them onto podcast episodes, I can make them individual videos, I can make tutorial videos, so there's like a bunch of different techniques together, so there would be like a casting on and a knitting and a purling in one video. So yeah, there's so many various options and ways to do it, and there's just lots of stuff to think about, and things that I can do in addition to what I already do in each podcast episode. So yeah, we can just open up to the whole podcast episode. If there's anything that you would like to see me do in each podcast episode, like what kind of tea do I like to drink during the week, or like what do I do as a morning routine or something like that, I can do that, and I can include that. Brainstorm ideas of how I can include that into a podcast episode. I'm using my hands a lot. I'm realizing as I'm saying all these things, I can figure out how to put that into an episode, and yes, so yes, rant. Not a rant, that was an important bit of information. That was not a rant at all. That was just good information for everybody to know. So that is all I have this week for content and knitting and all that jazz, and suggestions of future podcast segments. I said that right. I don't know why I tried to correct myself. Segments. How many times can we say the word segment? The content is done. I have said everything I need to say. And yes, So if you would like to find all the information that I've talked about, all the various links to the patterns, project pages, all that jazz, you can find them in the show notes. They will be on my blog. If you're on YouTube, the link to the blog will be down below, along with all the various social medias such as Facebook, Twitter, Ravelry, and Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram and a little bit more so on Twitter recently. And let's see, is there anything else that needs to be said? Oh yes, there's a Ravelry podcast group. You can find the group by searching the Catnip Podcast under the groups tab on Ravelry, or the link will be down below as well. I also have an online yarn store, which is the catnityarns.bigcartel.com, and that will be linked below as well. I have some yarn up there that is quite wonderful, if I do say so myself, if you'd like to go check that out. And yeah, so thank you so much for spending some time with me this week. I really appreciate it. If you are a new returner, or if you are a new listener, welcome. I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope it wasn't a too rambly podcast, since I did not have show notes with me this week. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have good crafty plans, and if not, that's super cool too. But if you do have crafty plans, I hope they are successful. I have crafty plans. Hopefully we will build a IKEA bookcase this weekend, and I can put some yarn on it, and that would be very wonderful, because there is yarn all behind you in various containers, mainly moving boxes, and it would be very nice to get those out of the moving boxes and on a bookshelf, so I can be inspired and things can be a little bit more tidy. That would be very nice. I would appreciate that. So hopefully that'll happen. If it doesn't, oh well, that's okay. You can always build an IKEA bookcase at any point, because we have the bookcase. But hopefully that'll happen this weekend. And yes, that is all I have to say. I hope you have a good, I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.